This is the 2020 Toyota GR Supra. A car long in the making, and after years of teasers and concepts, it is finally here. This particular one is the Launch Edition. With its red mirror caps, black rims, and a dash reminding you which one of the 1,500 made is yours, it will set you back $55,250 MSRP. You'll be lucky if you can get anywhere near that price, as the demand for this car is driving prices upwards. In some cases, the total sale value has been over $100,000. The front-end design of the Supra is aggressive, with large triple LEDs in the headlight housing, complemented by a running light that runs along the side and bottom of the headlights. The bottom half of the front bumper has massive air openings that Toyota claims they had to partially block off as the car was ingesting air too efficiently. The hood of the car is big, and in fact, it's so big it serves as part of the fenders. From the side, the Supra looks very short, and although it is reminiscent of the Mark IV Supra, it definitely reveals its likeness to the BMW Z4. Before we move to the back, we have to address the fake vents. Here, 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 and there are also fake vents on the hood that serve absolutely no purpose. The vent on the door may perhaps be the most obviously useless vent. However, it adds a design element that seamlessly merges the slim front with the wide hips at the rear. The rear is wide and quite stylish, and a familiar Supra logo sits front and center on the rear bumper. The taillights are unique and actually have a very modern design. A dual exhaust is wrapped beautifully by a very aggressive rear diffuser. Toyota was very stylish by converting what would be a rear fog light into a reverse light, a very unique and cool feature of the overall design. You might notice the roofline and how low it sits, and actually there were some issues with that. If you come over and you open the door, it seems like you'd sit in there fine, but you don't. If you try to sit in, you actually have to lower your head a lot, because there's this part right here that actually sits below your head. Now, once we get inside, there's actually a lot of room in here, and that's the whole reason this car has the double bubble roof. Now, this is the part where it's going to become really apparent that BMW was a co-developer in the creation of this car. You see, most of the interior components are very reminiscent of BMW interiors. In fact, most of it is just rebadged BMW materials. These red accents remind me of my own car, and I actually love the red leather and the stitching. These buttons, very solid. Handle made out of aluminum and very sturdy. Everything in here so far feels very nice. You got some carbon fiber accents, very sturdy buttons. You got your parking brake, and you got your shifter. But this is exactly what BMW has in all their cars. There's leather everywhere, and the leather feels good. The stitching is good. Everything in here feels really good and really sturdy. If we look at the steering wheel, this is a very familiar BMW steering wheel, and pretty much the only thing they changed was the logo. The paddles, they feel very, very sturdy. One thing that is very, very different from BMW, and I applaud Toyota for doing this, is the dash. You have the indicators right here along the sides that tell you how much fuel you have, your temperature. You have your tachometer in the middle. I think the styling overall is very interesting. I mean, they took a lot of what BMW already had and applied it in a way that seemed unique. Now, I get it. There is a lot of BMW in here, but overall, I think it's very distinct from the BMW interiors. If we look at the Z4 interior, it's actually more of a luxury package than this. This is more of a sporty package. One thing I do love about this Supra in particular, it's that it's a launch edition Supra, and you have this right here on the passenger side that reminds you that you have a launch edition Supra. Overall, it feels really nice and cozy in here. I actually have a lot more room than I had anticipated. There's plenty of headroom, and the driving position is not bad. I'm a tall guy, I'm 6 feet. Now, the only thing that I will say about this car is that so far, and I haven't driven it, the visibility doesn't seem to be the best. And let's be honest, you're not buying this car for the visibility. You're buying it because it's a Supra, right? Or are you buying it because it's a BMW? In here, we don't have a Toyota engine, but we have a BMW B58 B30C. Now, if this isn't your first time on my channel, then you know that I drive a BMW 340i that has the B58 B30 M0. So in other words, I have the OG B58, and this is a more refined B58. So let's get into it. The first thing we want to note is just how massive this hood is. I mean, it takes up the whole front of the car. If we look in here, we see the B58 in all its glory. The B58 uses direct injection, but also more interesting is that it uses a water-to-air intercooler. And this is the first time BMW has ever done anything like this. We just have a turbo charge pipe that leads directly into the intake manifold, and as the air enters, it is being cooled by water. This engine produces about 335 horsepower and about 365 pound-feet of torque, according to Toyota. Now, I say according to Toyota very contentiously because there have actually been reports of this car making 350 wheel horsepower stock with a crazy figure of 440 pound-feet of torque right out the box. Honestly, I can't say that I'm surprised because BMW is known for underrating their engines. And in this case, it was a really positive thing that this engine was expected to produce only about 335 horsepower at the crank. But in this case, we're getting 350 to the wheels or 330 to the wheels. That is really good for the people that are actually getting these cars. And I think they're getting one hell of a deal. I think Toyota really thought about the tuner community this time around, and they wanted to give us something that was going to be fun to tune and something that was ultimately going to deliver the power that we wanted without the price of having to pay for a supercar. I'm looking at you, GTR. Overall, I love the look of the car. It's a beautiful car. Say what you may about, oh, it's just a BMW, or, you know, it's not a real Supra because Toyota didn't make it. Don't look at that. Just take the car for what it is. It's a beautiful car. It's a car that is actually really fun to ride in, at least, because I haven't driven it. But now, enough about that. Let's go in the car. Let's go take it for a spin, and I'll give you my thoughts as I'm driving it. Alright guys, we're in the Supra. This thing is insane. I didn't realize just how much power can come out of this little car. That was literally a first, second gear pull, and the back spun out on me a little bit. The shifts are super quick. Now, if you can recall, I have a 340i, so I'm very familiar with how this car behaves. But this is not the same car. So whoever said that this car was basically a BMW, you're wrong, okay? You're wrong. This is a totally different animal. Let's give it a little test pull. Jesus. Those shifts are really, really fast, guys. Really fast. I'm really impressed. The ride is actually really, really smooth. I think I'm on sport mode. Let's put it back in comfort. Okay. Yeah, so this is very familiar. When you put it in comfort, it's nice and relaxed. Drive normally. The cabin is really small, so you can hear a lot of noise outside, but it feels very comfortable. You step on the gas and you're immediately catapulted forward. That's actually amazing. If we look at over here at the information system, the navigation and all that, this is very familiar BMW. Just immediately I know exactly where to go, what to look for. It's very, very familiar. I'm fine with that. As somebody that comes from a BMW, this is great. But if you're not familiar with BMWs, then this is all new to you, and guess what? You're being given a really, really good package when you get this car. That transmission is bad. Jesus. Guys, this feels so good in the back roads. The good thing about living in North Carolina is that there's so many back roads you can take your car on. Oh man. I know that the owner of this car really, really enjoys the hell out of this car. I mean, I haven't had a rear-wheel drive car in a while, and this just gives you some confidence, like as if you were driving the all-wheel drive model, if there was an all-wheel drive model. Hopefully, Toyota, take notes, make an all-wheel drive model. I'm actually amazed at how well this car handles. It feels great. Those downshifts are just intoxicating. I'll do a quick pull right here. Oh my god. This car's not even tuned. Like, I don't think you guys understand. This is not a $100,000 car. This is $55,000 MSRP. To have this much fun in a $50,000 car is amazing, because honestly, these cars with the engine that you have up front, there is so much potential. And I know that there are already people out there pushing 1,000 horsepower. There are people out there, you know, with a big turbo setup already. And you know what? Even if you didn't have all of that, you would still have a really fun car. I can't even imagine a tune on this thing. I mean, this thing is really gonna fly. The car handles great. One thing that the owner was telling me was that this transmission, I've been talking about it a lot because I'm actually really surprised at how fast it is. But he was telling me that even in automatic mode, which tends to slow down the transmission compared to paddle shifting it, it's still very responsive. So not wrong, it just shifts. It waits until you take it up to red line, and then it shifts when it needs to. And that's just a testament to how far these transmissions have come. I mean, even if we look back a few years ago, automatics were fine, but dual clutch transmissions were really where it's at as far as shifting times. And now I feel like the automatic transmissions are catching up. I mean, even if you look at the latest BMW M5, that has a fully automatic transmission on there with a torque converter, not a dual clutch. That's amazing. Well, there she goes. Guys, you have no idea how excited I am that that just happened. And I know it's a little dark, but honestly, it's worth it. This was a great experience, and I want to give a huge shout out to the owner. Huge shout out for supporting my channel and supporting what I'm about. Anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. This will not be the last of my reviews. There are more to come, and surely as I review more and more cars, my reviews will get better. But for now, this was the 2020 Toyota GR Supra. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.